All right, guys. So as you just seen, it's a super bad oil leak on this 2005 Chevy Silverado. If it's not leaking, it's not a Chevy. But anyways, this is my personal vehicle. It's leaking pretty bad. It's leaking from the rear main seal. Unfortunately, to get to that, you have to remove the transmission or the engine. But most commonly, and according to the book, removing the transmission is the way to get it. So that's what we're going to do today. Dropping the transmission, putting a brand new rear main seal housing. I prefer to put the whole housing instead of just the gaskets, just so it's on there right. Anyways, I'm gonna do the rear main seal and the oil pan, because I put the oil pan gasket before, but it's still kind of leaking, so I'm just put another one, and OEM everything. So I recommend you to do that. If you're gonna do all this, get OEM stuff, because it's a very hard job to do. Anyways, let's get straight into it. Okay, so before we go and get started at the bottom and start to do anything, first things to do on top is to remove this negative terminal. Make sure you move it out the way, because we are gonna have to remove the starter. Well, for me, because I'm gonna do the oil pan, and plus to get to the flex plate bolts, the torque converter bolts, should I say. So I'm gonna have to remove the starter, so go ahead and take off your negative. And then also, what I like to do is to remove the dipstick out of the way, just in case we have to remove it, the whole like dipstick. So this is me, at least for this part. But yeah, remove your negative terminal, and let's continue. Okay, so the first step is telling us to drain out the transmission fluid, just because, we take it off over here, it's gonna leak, but it leaks a little bit, not too much. So I'm gonna just skip that part and leave all the transmission fluid in there, which goes to the next step, is to remove this rear differential, or the drive shaft, should I say. I have mine marked already, just so I can go back to the same exact spot. These are size 11 millimeter. So yeah, just go ahead and break all these loose, take them off. There's like a small little clamp that holds it in. Same on top. If it starts to move, you could put a pry bar, which you shouldn't. But like I said, just break them loose, take off the clamps, and I'll show you when it's off. And the whole thing just slides out, and put it just somewhere safe. But for now, let's go ahead and remove these bolts. Okay, so yeah, this is kind of my setup. I already took off the bolts, and I have a drip pan right here, because when I take this off, some fluid should come out. So I just have that here just in case. Anyways, like I said, I already have the bolts out on this one. I really couldn't take it off because it's in the way of itself. So, when I pry it out with the pry bar, it should come out. So I haven't even touched it. So like I said, just put a pry bar right here and kind of rock it back and forth. There you go. Anyways, I got that out now. As you see, it's out all the way, and the other thing is out as well. So now we pull it out and put that somewhere safe at the bottom. I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna show you how it looks like after. Okay, so yeah, this is the drive shaft. Just put a plastic cover or a shop rag, just so that doesn't get damaged. But I just have it aside here. And then now that we're on the transmission, I already have my jack. It's already on the transmission. It's already flat on there. Next thing is to remove this mount bolt, which is a size 15 millimeter. And then, jack it up a little bit, just so it's off of this frame. And then take off all these little wires that are gonna be attached to it. Maybe this one was take that one off as well. This is size 21 millimeter. All of these, and the nut for it as well is size 21. So we're gonna remove this whole piece. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Size 15, 21 on both sides, and the wiring. And all this whole thing should come off. Okay, so yeah, I removed this. It was just those two clips for the wiring and the four bolts. I already have all this set aside. Now the next thing is to remove this exhaust. So I would start to pre-soak all your nuts to make sure everything comes out. You might need a torch, depending how bad they look. So start to put some spray on there, and then before you take off any bolts, I recommend you to remove all these harnesses from the connections, just so when everything drops, it's not hanging from the wires, could damage the wires. So take off all the wires and then start on the bolts, and let's take this off. Oh, and then also on top there is 3 bolts on each side. It's almost like a triangle. This is the driver's side, and this is the passenger side. Like I said, it's almost like a triangle, so a size 15 millimeter. So let's go ahead and take off. There's 3 bolts over here, 3 bolts on the driver's side, and 2 bolts right here. And then all the connections, there should be 4 oxygen sensors, 2 on the driver's side, 2 on the passenger side. So let's do all that, and I'll show you when it's done. Okay, so I've had this happen to me a couple of times, but I thought I was gonna be able, but my jack is in the way, so I'm gonna just kind of leave it there, loose. So when I drop the transmission, I'm gonna drop this at the same time, which is not a big deal really. But yeah, this is how it should look. I got all my connections off, and then I got the bolts off as well. That's how it looks. And then for this side again, like I said, just the 215s. I got them out. Oh shit, I didn't even see this one. This one, and then this one over here. And then this is how it looks. It's the same thing, like a triangle. So yeah, just make sure they're all loose, so whenever it falls, it drops good. So yeah, let me take this one off and continue. Okay, so yeah, once I have that connection off, this is still loose. Now let's go ahead and start to remove the starter. So this is a size 13 millimeter, both. So yeah, once that drops, there's some connections in the back. This is why we remove the battery terminal, just because there's power to this. So let's go ahead and remove these 2 bolts right here, drop it down, and then I'll show you, what cables to remove. But for now, let's remove these 2 bolts and continue. Okay, so yeah, this is like the little plate that goes on here. I took it off as well. It's a size 10 millimeter. So yeah, that comes off, and then you kind of have to like wiggle this out and pull it back as much as you can until it comes out like this, how I have it right here. And then as you see, there is 2 wires that come out of here. This is a size 8 millimeter and a size 13. So yeah, as you can see, I'm right there, a size 8 and a size 13. Just go ahead and remove that, and the whole starter should come off. So just be careful when you're taking them off, the whole thing could fall down. So let's go ahead and remove those 2 cables, nuts, and this whole thing should drop. Okay, so now that we got these cables out and the starter out of the way, now let's remove this shield. This is a size 10 millimeter. There's 2. There's one right here and one over here, just because there is these lines that we're gonna have to take off, and then some connections in the back of this. So yeah, let's go ahead and remove this heat shield. 2 bolts, size 10 millimeter. Let's remove that. Okay, so now that we have this shield off, now here comes all the small little details. So this is the driver's side. This is the transmission dipstick. So as you seen, or as you see these 2 transmission lines. I popped off that plastic thing, and there is these clips right here. I haven't took it off yet, but I have these extra. Okay, so yeah, they look like this. It kind of looks like an M. And me, what I like to do is when I'm taking them off, I like to go to with the pick like this, pry this off, and slowly like take it off. And make sure you save these, or unless you have extra, but be careful because they do tend to fly out. I've had it happen to me a couple times and it sucks. So I like to grab it from here and start to pull it out from the end. But yeah, they pretty much look exactly like this. And so yeah, there is two of those right here. Like I said, you got to remove this plastic piece out of the way. It's kind of a tight spot, and then get your pick tool and pop them out. There's two of them. And then if we keep going, there's the main connection right here. It's just kind of like a like the one that you squeeze in and pop out. So yeah, I'll show you when I'm done with them how it looks. So there's those two. There's that connection. And if we keep going to the rear, just like take off any of the plastic housings that are like that and pop this off as well. So this is off from the passenger side. So I'm gonna just do this side focus and show you how it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so yeah, this is how it looks, when they're off. So I kind of have them both off, just hanging there. Put a rag just in case it starts to leak. There's no leak. Anyways, I couldn't get this connection. Well, I got this one already, like I said, but I couldn't get this gray one right here, just because this exhaust is in the way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave it there for now, and then when it starts to drop and have more access to it, I'm gonna take it off. So I just gotta be careful on this. So if you can get it, go ahead and take it off, obviously. But if not, just hold on, as I am as well. And then for this side, there's a little bit more stuff. There is a size 8 or a 7 millimeter right here, this bracket. And then there is this connection for the gear select. So there's that blue tab that you pull out and you squeeze it down and pull out. And then there is the shift cable. There's a size 15. Go ahead and remove that. And then there is this clip right here. It's like a staple, like a big staple. Just go ahead and pry it out, and it should come through. So I'll show you before and after on this side as well. This is the driver's side now. So let's go ahead and start this one. Okay, so yeah, this is the bracket. It's a size 8 millimeter. So that's off. And then for this, it was that blue thing, but it wasn't the squeeze one. Thought it was. You pull this down. I use my pick again, and press the whole thing down, and it unlocks. You just pull it out. It slides out. And then for the shift cable, this is a size 15 millimeter. So 15, and then for this bracket. This is the clip that I was talking about. You just pull out and it comes out. And then so yeah, that's how it comes out from the clipper here. And to pull it out all the way from this bracket, there's these two tabs right here. You gotta press down and pull out at the same time. And then you kind of remove it out the way. So yeah, let me see what else is there to remove. But that's done. This side is just that connection. So yeah, let's continue. Okay, so now we're done with everything over there. For now. Now we're gonna take off the torque converter bolts. As you can see one of mine right there. But either way, the next step is necessary. There is this shield. If you have it, it's size 15. There's 4 of them, and it goes right here. It goes right here. There's you can see the bolt holes right here and 2 right here. So yeah, go ahead and remove this plastic piece. In order for us to gain access to the crank bolt, which is a size 24 millimeter, let's turn it clockwise, just so we could like spin the crank and so we can see the bolts. There should be, I think, 4 of them, size 15 millimeter. So yeah, I'll show you whenever I'm done. Just spin them until you have them all off. Okay, so now that we got all of these bolts out, there is actually 3 of these. They look like this, size 15, or you use that, I guess, if it strips, but size 15. And then you know that it's free whenever you can spin the torque converter with your hand. Now, we're gonna start to remove all of these bell housing bolts. I counted 8, but I will double check on that. So there's 2 of these that are regular 15s, and then the rest that are like studs, like sticking out, all the other ones. So yeah, you're gonna need a deep 15 for that, and 2 of these down. And then, like I said, there's 8 that I counted. And then me, what I like to use is this like cardboard cutout. I put T top, bottom, passenger, and driver. I reuse this a lot, and I kind of put them where they kind of go, just because they are different sizes. So I'm gonna be using this for my guide, just so I don't mess them up and they go back to the same spot. So I'm gonna take off all of them, and then I'll show you if there's any trouble, if anything else. But there's 8, like I said, if I counted, so I'll give you an update when I'm done. Okay, so yeah, these are the bolts, how they are in the vehicle. Like I said, this is the bottom, and yeah, this is all 15s until you get to this one, size 13, and then there's a bracket, 15 again, same thing, 13, bracket, 15 again, and then this one over here is a 13, the bracket for the transmission dipstick, and a 15. But yeah, this is how it goes. This is going to the driver's side, and then this is the one all the way on top, very, very top, and coming down again. Okay, so yeah, this is how all the bolts are arranged. Let me see what's next to do. Okay, so now that we have all the bolts out, and you can literally start to pry it off. So yeah, I mean, I really can't record this, but I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, I would say. Just slowly take it apart. The only thing we have left on this, the only thing we have is this vent tube that goes on the transmission. I'm not sure how it's mounted. This vent tube right here, and it goes inside the top of it, and then this connection right here. So I'm gonna slowly start to take it out, and then I got this exhaust that's loose as well, so I gotta be careful with that. So I'm gonna try to record somehow, time lapse type thing. So yeah, I'm gonna start it now. Okay, so now that we got the transmission out, the exhaust out of the way, now this is clearly perfect area to work now that it's out of the way. So this is 15 millimeter. I like to go in the star pattern when I'm removing stuff. So, and then just make sure if you want to mark it, so you know you put it on the right way, because there's 2 ways, and if you put it on wrong, you know, it's gonna suck. So mine has this X, so I'm gonna go off of that. So like I said, a size 15. Start to remove them in the star pattern, and let's continue. Okay, so now comes a part where it kind of depends on the person, but me, I'm gonna replace this whole housing. If you're gonna replace this, just go ahead and pop it out. Use the installer tool, or I've done it like this before, where I take off this whole housing and I kind of just pry it out, push it back in, put RTV. But I'm gonna take off my oil pan, and I'm gonna just skip to where I'm putting, or when I'm taking it out and when I'm putting it in. So for now, I'm gonna take off my oil pan, and then the next scene you're gonna see is me taking this off. Okay, so now that we got all the pan out and all these bolts out, Now it's time to pry this out. Like I said, it depends. If you're gonna replace this, I'm gonna replace the whole housing. And there is another gasket all the way around as well. So just keep that in mind. If you're gonna go this far, might as well do all of it. So anyways, just anywhere I guess, start to pry. You see, I didn't even do much of it and it's already out. So let me just wiggle it out and it should come off. So yeah, there you go. And then there's this gasket as well. Like I said, if you're gonna go this far, might as well take it out. So yeah, let's clean the surface with the, I use, oh, that's satisfying. Ooh, all one. Oh yeah. So yeah, me, I like to get a razor blade and just kind of go over everything. And then with some type of adhesive or some type of pad, like a dishwashing one, clean all this surface around here, all of this on top, make sure all that's clean, and now we'll go to the next part. Okay, so this is what it should look like, somewhat clean, smooth to the touch all the way around. And as if you notice, I put a small thin of oil, film of oil, just so the gasket can slide around, very thin. And make sure you put some here. But anyways, this is my gasket. I bought from OEM. Gasket in the rear, in the front, brand new bolts. So yeah, just make sure you lube this up very good, just so the gasket don't come out or roll on you. So just put a lot of oil really on the bearing over there. Other than that, let's install this. Okay, so yeah, I just put a lot of oil. I have not tightened no bolts. I'm just kind of pressing it all the same, just so this gasket could start to slide in. And I'm leaving this plastic thing on there because that's kind of a guide for it to like not roll on you. It kind of like helps it stay in that certain spot. Like I said, I have not tying down any bolts. I'm gonna start to do it like randomly, just so it can slowly start to like press itself in. So keep that in mind, do that. Don't rush this process. Put a lot of oil before you do this part. Okay, so yeah, I thought I hit the record button, but I didn't. Anyways, just kind of force it in there slowly and then tighten them up slowly, all in like a compressed pattern so it can go in good. Most important thing is put oil on that thing as I was telling you. Now let's go ahead and continue with the torque specs. And before we do that, make sure this is flat at the bottom. If you didn't remove your oil pan, it should be good. But if not, if you have it like me, make sure this is flat. You should have no issue really if you feel it good. And yeah, so let's go ahead and torque these bolts. Okay, and then as you've seen, I mark every bolt I touch. There's no sequence. I just went across. They're 18 foot-pounds for all of these bolts. So go ahead and torque that. Make sure this is flush. And let's continue. The only thing is the oil pan to put back. I'll give you the torque specs on that if you did remove it. And if not, these bolts are torqued to 106 inch-pounds. But let's continue. Okay, so now that I got my oil pan on there, all these small bolts are torqued to 18 foot-pounds all the way around. No specific order. Like I said, just do cross from each other, 18 foot-pounds. And then, like I said, for these two long bolts for the rear main seal, torqued to 106 inch-pounds. So make sure you do that as well. Now, do the flex plate and put the transmission on. So let's go ahead and put this on. Okay, so now that we got the bolts on there, I like to use some of the thread locker, some blue, medium, just so they can stay on there a little bit longer, kind of like a safety. And then, so I do have the torque specs, but I'm using this as a like a stopping, like a locking thing, because I'm gonna turn it and then it's gonna want to go. So I'll put this here. Anyways, so yeah, anyways, here's the torque spec. I don't know if you recognize that little dot. So there you go. That's that one right there. I don't know if you can see through the camera, but I'm gonna give you the order, the number: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And there's 3 torque sequences, which is first pass is 15 foot-pounds, second 37 foot-pounds, and final pass is 74 inch-pounds. So, or foot-pounds, should I say? So yeah, let's go ahead and torque this down, and let's continue. Okay, so pretty much the last thing is to put the transmission back in there. It's kind of the same procedure. The only thing is to make sure your dipstick goes in first. That's pretty much the only important thing. Make sure everything lines up. I'll show you as soon as I get like first steps done. But other than that, it's just kind of a reverse type thing. Just put everything back. But like I said, let me mount this kind of together and I'll pretty much end it. And I'll give you torque specs of everything that I could find. Other than that, let's continue. Okay, and then for all the bolts all the way around, if it matters to you, they're torqued to 37 foot-pounds. So that's that. And then also one important, very important thing is the flex plate. You see that color on top of the bolt? Put that one first, because if you don't put that one first, all the other ones are not going to line up. So you have to put this one first. The one that has a color dot on top of it. And then these 3 bolts are torqued to 46 inch-pounds. Let me give you something else that would be important. But yeah, for now, make sure you tighten these up. The torque converter spins by hand, and that's first. Okay, so all in all, whenever you're done, you're gonna drop it. Make sure your oil is filled up, your transmission fluid is filled before you start it. And then also, whenever you go for your test drive, and then you come back, make sure everything is not leaking, obviously. Make sure the dipstick tube that goes inside the transmission, the gasket isn't leaking as well. Other than that, just double check your fluids, just because you drained them all or it failed or it dropped a lot. So just double check that whenever you come back from your test drive, and even the next day, just to quadruple check. Other than that, thanks for all the subscribers that I've been getting. We're almost to 1,000, so thanks for all of that. But yeah, if you are not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I got more stuff on the way for this truck. If you want to keep track and be part of it, hit the subscribe button, and see you guys next time. Peace.